I'll send you guys some ice cream. Just give me a minute. I'll be right over. Just caught me getting my getting my wet palette ready. It's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. Hey Travis. Hey Robbie. Hey Klaus. I hope everybody's having a good evening. Whatever evening it is for you. We have one more Dread Warrior and one more Chaos God to represent. So, to review. I know, buddy. You're always leeching my viewers. We first did Khorne, the red god of blood and slaughter and death and maiming. And then we did Nurgle, the green god of pestilence and sickness and grossness. And then we did, last stream, Slaanesh, the purple god of sex and excess and horniness. So, there you go. So that's what we've done so far, and tonight we have our final Chaos God that we're going to be doing, and that is going to be Tzeentch. Tzeentch is the god of magic and change. So, it's he's a bit of a mysterious god. I'm playing with the volume levels because I'm trying out a new playlist. I'm trying to see if I can just get YouTube to work without having to use Pretzel, because I really don't want to pay for it. So, that's all. Okay, so this guy's going to be blue with some gold accents. And I think for the little flourish that we always do, we're gonna do some glowing runes on his armor, because Tzeentch is all magical and shit. So, all right. So we're gonna start off with our base layer, which is gonna be Abyss Blue. You made cosmic brownie dice, Travis? That's awesome. I used to eat those all the time when I was a kid. They were my favorite little Debbie cake. Now I'm pretty sure there's too much sugar in those, and they would probably just give me heartburn. They are 99% 99% poison. Yeah. Yeah, they make like stamps, but I can freehand runes easy enough. They're like little squiggles, that's all. Yeah, little Debbies are like mostly preservatives and chemicals and shit. They're definitely not good for you. But really sweet stuff gives me heartburn, which is sort of weird, but like the way that I discovered this was as an adult man. And this was in probably my early 20s maybe. I bought a box of Runts. You know, the Willy Wonka candy that's like, it's like shaped like fruit, but it just tastes like sugar. You probably don't have Little Debbies in New Zealand because they're not technically food. But yeah, I bought a box of Runts, and I ate like maybe not even like half the box. I ate like a few Runts in the box, and then like almost immediately afterwards, I got the worst heartburn in my life that I have ever had. And so like, okay, so this is a sign of old age. I was just in my 20s. I couldn't eat that sugary of a candy. It just like completely destroyed my guts. And from that point on, I can't really eat sugary candy anymore. It just does not agree with me. That's my old man ailments section for the night. Glad I got that quote out of the way. This stream brought to you by Old Man Ailments. That's right. When you reach 30 and beyond, you start to acquire some unfun adverse reactions to things. That's Old Man Ailments. You'll get it, whether you want it or not. And now, also try Old Woman Ailments. They're sort of different, but really just the same. Yep. Just preservatives. Mostly just like chemicals and grossness and not real food, that's for sure. But I do think that it's the key to killing RFK Jr. Because if he saw like a little Debbie, he probably would just die. Yeah, they're not really food at all. It is funny to me that that in a lot of countries with stricter like food regulations, like the EU or the UK, that a lot of American foods can't be sold because of the amount of preservatives and like artificial like chemicals in them. That's very funny to me. It's not because they would cost too much to import them, it's because literally it would be illegal to sell them if they were in the country. It's true. Okie dokie. Hello there. Irish. Willkommen. Welcome to the welcome to the painting Tzeentch stream. All right, so we got our base coat, our shadows down for this, which was our abyss blue. Now we're gonna add in our next coat. I'm just going all crazy over here. And we are going to mix some Thousand Suns blue in with our abyss blue. Oh, this is old paint. I could tell just by getting it out of the pot. So we're going to need to thin that with water pretty well. Okay. Okay. I'm just trying to be careful not to get into the shadows. Definitely don't want to get it in the... I've said this before, but I definitely don't want to get it into any paint into the face slit. Because I don't want to... I don't want any color in there. I want it to be completely dark. completely in love with this playlist. There's some good ones in here, but there are also some interesting choices. And also, I'm not completely convinced this is copyright free, because I put that into the YouTube search algorithm, and this is what it gave me. So we'll see if it's if I get any copyright strikes. Probably will. I always do. Even when I use pretzel, I get copyright strikes. So. Oh, I forgot to do the shield. No, we'll change that in just a second. All right. My day was good. Just catching up the chat. My day was good. I can't really complain. I had a pretty peaceful day. Just taking care of my little baby girl child Dirter. She slept a lot, so that was nice. I got to hang out with my friends and play World of Warcraft a little bit, which was nice in the middle of the day. Thanks for popping in, Klaus. I hope it turns out well too. If it doesn't, then you'll never know. The stream will never see the light of day. Can't go having people see me make mistakes. That would be insane. Nobody can know that I am but man. And man is mortal. And man errs. But seriously, have a good night. Or a good day. Or a good evening. Whatever it is. It was a pretty chill day. Can't really complain. Me and Travis fought a boss in World of Warcraft that made us mad, so that was good. But it was very satisfying when we finally beat him. shield. It was hard. It was like stupidly hard. It just turns out all we had to do was deal incredible amounts of damage to kill it before it could do the mechanic that we didn't want it to do. Okay. All right. Now moving on, using a smaller brush. I'm going to just go with the straight up Thousand Suns blue. This will be our next color. It's our mid-tone. I already like this color. Well, I'm a sucker for blue, so. Yeah, right? Would have never guessed that I'm a sucker for blue. Ooh, Zodiark. Yeah, I haven't done that one in a minute either. Yeah, I know how that feels. You are doing a dungeon, you're just like, you're just like Gandalf. I remember this place. You know, I'm particularly proud of my Gandalf impression from the bridge of Khazad-dûm. He's fighting the Balrog. It's one of my favorites to do. It's one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie. I don't know if I've talked about this much on stream, but Gandalf, and particularly Gandalf the Grey, not Gandalf the White is fine, but Gandalf the Grey is one of my favorite characters of all time. Full stop. And the reason is because he's different from the other wizards of his order in the sense that he's actually trying to fulfill his mission, which is to help the people of Middle-earth by actively going around and like offering counsel and fighting in wars and stuff like that, and slaying dragons. But whereas Saruman is like, you know, he wasn't always bad, but he gave up on people and desired power above all. But Gandalf never did. And he believed in the strength of common folk. So, you know, he's just a pretty great all-around dude. Yep, I love Gandalf. It's funny because all of the Istari, the wizards, that was their name, the Istari, they were all given the same mission, basically, which was go to Middle-earth and help the people of Middle-earth, you know, guide them on the correct path. Because they weren't human. They're actually, and most people know this nowadays, he is a fantastic wizard. He's one of the best there's to ever do it. People know this, but the wizards of Middle-earth are actually, they're called Maiar, or Mayar. I don't know how it's pronounced exactly. I'm sure Tolkien told me, but I forgot. He didn't tell me personally, but you know what I mean. I'm sure it was in an index somewhere. But the Maiar were, are basically kind of like demigods. Not demigods. Kind of like, you know, like, basically like angels, kind of. And they traveled to Middle-earth at the end of the Second Age, and the beginning of the Third Age to help the people of Middle-earth. And they assumed the figures of wizened old men. But that's not what they actually look like. They probably look... they never really describe how the Valar and the Maiar work or look, but I would imagine they probably looked fairly close to elves. Maybe a bit more impressive looking elves. Oh, we're mixed Ahriman blue, by the way, with our Thousand Suns blue to create our first transitional highlight layer. Should probably talk about what I'm doing a little bit too. Yeah, they were 5 wizards all together. There was Gandalf, Saruman, Radagast, and the 2 blue wizards, which are named Alatar and Palando, or Morhintar and... oh god, I can't remember what the other guy's name was. His other name. Oh god, what was it? Rostamo. That's it. Morhintar and Rostamo, or Alatar and Palando. Tolkien called them Morhintar and Rostamo later on, because the name's translated to Morhintar Darkness Slayer, and Rostamo was East Helper. And their original names were Alatar and Palando, which didn't really have much significance behind the names. At least not that I can suss out. So, but, you know. I'm also not J.R.R. Tolkien or a linguist, so... I am ready for the Rings of Power to come back as well. I know a lot of people quibble with it, but me, I love it. Just because it's more Lord of the Rings, or more Middle-earth content. And I just love seeing it, you know? I think Galadriel's a badass, and I love it. It plays fast and loose with the lore, but honestly, I don't care too much. I also think that a lot of it is sort of like out of sequence. Like, I think the Gandalf stuff isn't happening at the same time as, like, the Galadriel and Elrond stuff. Because, canonically, the Astari Gandalf, or Olorin, as he was his Maiar name, he did not come to Middle-earth until after Sauron was already defeated, and it was the Third Age had already begun. So, the Blue Wizards, however, came at the end of the Second Age, and they were given the mission to travel east and try to get the Easterling tribes to go against Sauron. That was their mission. And Tolkien initially said that that they failed. That was his first. When he first talked about, or first addressed the Blue Wizards, he said that they failed and that they went on to create magic cults that would sort of, that persisted. Throughout the years. But later on, he wrote about them. And he reconsidered, it seemed, because he said that he actually felt that they must have succeeded because they would have swayed some of the Easterlings, because otherwise the number of Easterlings at the last battle of, or the last alliance of elves and men at the end of the Second Age, there would have been more Easterlings there, and they would have vastly outnumbered the Númenóreans, and the Númenóreans would have lost the battle. But that didn't happen, so they must have succeeded. I love that the way that Tolkien talks about his, like, world, like he doesn't have very much control over it. It's so funny to me. It's like, you wrote it, dude. You know what happened. You know, you just don't want to tell us. Cheeky little man. All right. No, that's completely okay. They are hefty tomes. I'm on my third reading of The Lord of the Rings, and I've gotten through Fellowship of the Ring. I'm on the Two Towers. And, you know, not everybody has the time to read them. I recommend reading them if you so desire. If that's something that you want to do, then do it, you know? But don't feel like you are obligated to do any such thing. There's no such thing as a fake Tolkien fan. As long as you love the series and understand the message, and then you're good. The fake Tolkien fans out there are the ones who seem to try to twist his message into some sort of alt-right messaging, which, I mean, literally he was talking about Nazis in the whole book, but, you know, don't tell them that. Yeah, like I like how this is turning out. We were very nearly done with our blue armor. We're on to our last highlight of Armin Blue. Oh yeah, yeah. That might be part of the reason why that you're a little overwhelmed by it. You just get like a set of like a box set of like all the books in their individual volumes. Alright, that's our blue armor done. Yes, do that. That's a good idea. You know, it's funny. The Lord of the Rings wasn't originally going to be a sequel to The Hobbit. The Hobbit was going to be its own thing. But it was the original story was so successful that when Tolkien pitched initially to his publishers, thank you. He pitched initially to his publishers. He said he pitched basically the Silmarillion, which was the pre-store or the pre-history of Middle Earth, and they said nah. So he pitched them a sequel to The Hobbit in The Lord of the Rings. And the story became, you know, what it was, or what it is. And it became the sequel to The Hobbit. And so he went back, and in every edition after the first edition of The Hobbit, they actually changed certain aspects of the story so that it matched up with Lord of the Rings. For instance, in the original draft of The Hobbit, Bilbo and Gollum, their riddle contest, Gollum gave Bilbo the ring at the end of Gollum gave Bilbo the ring as a reward, literally, for winning the riddle contest. But obviously that doesn't track with the way that the One Ring works. So the way that he changed it was that he went back and made the riddle scene what it is now, and he changed it in later editions by saying basically like when Bilbo told the initial story, he lied. that was his explanation. He was like, Bilbo just lied about the original version of the story, and that's what I wrote down. So you can't blame me, blame Bilbo. And then from every edition of The Hobbit onwards, it was the riddle scene that we all know and love. I know. But, you know, he was like, you know, he was under the influence of the ring or whatever. Alright, we're going to paint the cloth on this bad boy, and we're going to paint it yellow. That's right. So we're going to start off with our ochre color. It's going to be Gizmo Fur. It's going to be our shadows. Whoops, that's too much paint on my palette. Whatever. Yep. Contrasting colors. I'm glad you guys are appreciating the lore. I just love talking about Lord of the Rings, man. I could talk about it all day. I also learn a lot by I follow a lot of Lord of the Rings like lore content creators on like Instagram. Walk, 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 walk. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Like, most people don't know this stuff. I mean, the fact that I do know this stuff is... I mean, like, that's more embarrassing than not knowing it. I mean, it's just the equivalent of being like, you know, hey, you know, when Viggo Mortensen kicked that helmet in Two Towers, he actually broke his toe. And that's the take that they used. The one where he broke his toe. Everybody who watches Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, shares that fact. And it's just as obnoxious as saying like, oh, did you know that the dwarves were not created by Eru Iluvatar, who created elves and men? The dwarves were actually created by Aule the Smith, one of the Valar. And when Eru Iluvatar saw what he had done, he commanded him to destroy them. But changed his mind at the last minute and said, hey, okay, you can keep them, but they gotta go sleep. And they will, because they're not gonna wake up before the elves. See? That's obnoxious. The fact that I said Eru Iluvatar should, like, you know, just make people roll their eyes. And I named at least one Valar in there. And the fact that I know the term Valar should also make people roll their eyes. The gastronomical influences? You mean all the food? It's mostly English food. Because Tolkien was very English. He also said that he lived as a hobbit and all but he was a hobbit in all but stature, I believe is what he said. That's how he described himself. Well, I'm glad you find it fascinating. That's why I like it too, is because I'm a big old nerd. My wife just rolls her eyes at me. She's like, cool. Got some yellow on his boots. Yellow on his boots. Gonna have to cover that with dark, dark paint. Okay. Well, I've got the big brush out. We'll go ahead and do the second coat of yellow on the cloak. I'm sorry, the ochre. This is ochre, not yellow. Yeah, it definitely does that. The thing that bugs me the most about Rings of Power are the people who don't like Rings of Power and they constantly have to tell you that they don't like Rings of Power. I know Travis didn't care for it. At least he's not loud about it, you know. Yeah, no, I get it. I think a season 2 is pretty good, though. And I mean, like, you know, I always tell people, like, you know, if you don't like it, just don't watch it. That's all. Nobody's forcing you. Nobody is forcing anybody to watch anything. I love all the stuff with the dwarves in Rings of Power. That's just because I feel like in the movies. Exactly. Don't force it. Don't force it. You'll hurt yourself. They don't get a lot. The dwarves didn't get a lot of love in the movies, so it's just nice to see some good dwarven scenes. Some good looking dwarves. You know? Durin's Bane. Well, fun fact about Durin, or Durin, the dwarf, there were actually 6 dwarves named Durin, and they were all thought to be the original first father of the dwarves. Reborn. I don't remember them all off the top of my head, but I do know that in the Third Age, when the events of the Lord of the Rings take place, there has not been another Durin in some time. And there wouldn't be another one until after the ring is destroyed and the mines of Moria were retaken. I believe that Durin was the son of Dane Ironfoot's son. So Dane Ironfoot's grandson, which I cannot remember his name. I think it's Thrain. Thrain. Son of Dane. His son was the next Durin and he led a successful campaign to retake Moria after the ring was destroyed. They go through and they root out all the orcs within and kill them. Because as you know, because Durin's Bane has been destroyed by Gandalf, so they don't have to worry about that anymore. Short start. That's very good. That's very, very good. I love that, Travis. Thank you. Oops. What did I do? Alright. Moving on to the next color, yellow. Mixing Dark Sun Yellow with our initial coat. Just thinking about dwarves now. I don't know why I like wizards and dwarves so much. Those things don't usually mix, but I've never been a normal human, so. What are you guys all up to? No, Irish, you mentioned that you said you were doing roulettes. doing dailies. PvP, nice. Alright, moving on to our Dark Sun Yellow. Oh, very nice. Oh, thank you. I was just about to ask what we thought of the yellow. Yeah, I think I like the contrast. I think we're gonna have to do another coat of the yellow, of the dark sun yellow, but I do think it looks very good. I do. I do still have the original 4. So I'll do that at the end when we're done with this fellow. We can compare the old with the new. Yeah, I think it would be pretty cool. I wish I still had the physical models, but unfortunately I do not. Those are still in my parents' place. Because it's my dad's copy of HeroQuest that I painted the first ones on. They're at their place. But a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? Alright, we're mixing ice yellow with our dark sun yellow, and that's going to be our highlight, I think. I don't think we're going to go up a higher color than this because the yellow is already very bright. And I don't want it to be too crazy. Probably am going to actually have to go up another highlight because you could barely make out this highlight. So this will be a good transitional color. Okay, and then we'll follow it with a final highlight of just ice yellow. I don't want to get too bright with this. Oh yeah, we need to show the evolution of them, obviously. Alrighty, that's our yellow. If I feel like I need to, I might go over with a yellow contrast paint, just because I feel like some of this ice yellow is a little too bright, but once it dries and stuff like that, it usually dries a lot duller than, or a lot darker than it goes on initially, so we'll see. I'll think about it, depending. Alrighty, let's do the horns, and that'll be the bone. And we're also going to do the gloves, his glove in this color as well, just because I'm not going to get another brown to do this, and it'll fit. You can also do the straps of the shield this color. So we're starting off with our usual horn color, base color, which is Dust Bowl. Alrighty. Oh gosh. Just completely shook my entire disc. That's our first color. Then we're moving on to our next, which is Dragon Fang. Same usual formula that we use for our horns and bone. Ah. And then the next one is going to be Skeleton Legion. This is Darren's paint. And the Skeleton Legion will be the last color I put on the straps and the gloves, just because I don't want them to be too bright. And then we'll do the last highlight of Vampire Fang. That'll be our final highlight on the horns. And then we can move on to metallics. But before we do that, we're going to go through and neaten up some of these spots that we might have gotten a little bit of excess paint on them. Alrighty, that's the horns all done. So we're gonna go through now and neaten up some of these spots that got maybe a little bit of paint on them. Just gonna take our shadow paint, our mid-tone, or our shadow tones, the Abyss Blue. Go through and get some of those edges there. A little bit of yellow got on them, of course. That's okay. It's the beauty of painting. You can always cover up your mistakes. I think we're good on everything else. That ice yellow might be a little too harsh. I'm gonna experiment real quick. We're gonna try bringing it down just a touch with some Imperial Fist contrast paint. I just want to see what that looks like. I'm gonna apply this all over. Just gonna try applying it over the highlight. I think that's a little better. Just looking at it right. It's just, yeah, because the original was just a little too bright. No, Alec, you're not allowed to zonk. But thank you. You have to stay up all night and hang out with us. You know this. It's required. Pretty sure it's a law somewhere. Pretty sure I read that somewhere it's a law that your friends have to hang out with you until they tell you it's time to go to bed. We must release you. not the other way around. Okay. Well, yellow looks much better now, in my humble opinion. Okay. Groovy. Anything else that I need to do? Nope. It's time for metallics. And when it's time for metallics, that means it's time for sexy gogs. Oops. I keep touching my ears. And my earbuds do weird stuff when you touch them. The headlamp has decided it wants to work today. We'll see for how long. It's time for sexy gogs. I've got to get that sexy gogs emote in chat. I gotta do it. So folks can spam it whenever I put on the sexy gogs. Right here. I mentioned at the top of the stream that we were doing gold highlights, or golden metallics, accents, whatever you want to call them. So I'll mention it again. Doing gold accents. Okay. I was gonna use that brush, but I was like, no, it's a little too big. Too worried that I'm gonna just like completely balls it up. Good night, Alec. Okay. Hi, Spoon. I am indeed. I am indeed. I have done 3 so far. We have, we did, the first 3. We have Corn, Nurgle, and Slaanesh. And this is the last one, and it is obviously Tzeentch. So. That is where we are right now. And then I have 2 more of the, 2 more the mythic ones. We're doing something completely different. I'll probably do them in black. Just for Chaos Undivided. Yeah, I know a lot of folks. It's not a completely original concept, but it's what I did with my original ones too, so that's why I did it with these guys. And I've been trying to add little touches to them to make them all unique to their Chaos God. So on the corn one, we've got like blood splatter and blood effects paints. The Nurgle one, we got a little bit of corrosion and grit. And on the Slaanesh one, we added like some little gold filigree kind of thing to it to make him look, you know, extra vain. Which is a very Slaanesh-y thing. I have to go back and neaten up over this gold because I apparently don't know how to paint. Let's get a little more gold because I'm running out on my paper palette over here. Alrighty. Now the mace. Whoop. Alrighty. That's the gold. And now the silver. Starting, of course, with dwarven iron. I got everything on the base. Yep, looks like it. Cool. Alrighty, now it's time to add our shades. Seraphim Sepia for the gold. And Millen oil for the silver. I hate the Games Workshop Citadel paints paint pots, especially when they don't, when the tops don't want to stay up. Like most of the time. Yeah, well, thank you, Irish. Yeah, I'm liking the way it looks coming together so far too. Very nearly done. Very nearly. just give that a second to dry. Give that little touch of the dragon's gold again, just to bring some of that luster back to it. And then after this, oh, Midwest Minis. Midwest Miniature Guy, welcome on in. Thank you for the raid. Thank you for raiders coming on in. We are finishing up our Chaos / Dread Warrior. This one we're doing in the style of Tzeentch. We've done the other ones. This is our last Chaos guy that we have yet to give our devotion to. So that is what we are doing. All right. Little watery there. Thank you. Very nearly finished with it. Going back, we're adding a little bit of gold to bring back the luster from the shade that we added. Okay. Alrighty. Now we are going to add a little glistening gold for our highlights. Not too much of this. I don't want to be super shiny. a very shiny, very bright gold or white gold. Shoulders here, tips of the shoulder spikes. I'm gonna neaten it up a little bit after this. Because apparently I got sloppy a little bit there. Okay. Alrighty. Now we'll do the silver, and then we'll neaten up this blue, and then we'll start our magic runes that I'm going to carve on it. Carve, I say. I'm going to just draw them on. We are close to finished. So very close to finish. Okay. We got our mace. Alrighty. Now we're gonna take some of my abyss blue for my shadow tones and just neaten up on the shield a little bit. Probably would help if you guys were could see. Orcish barbarian / fighter and a human paladin tonight. A human barbarian skin tones. Very nice. Love to hear it. Painting some D&D minis. That's sick as hell. Are they custom minis or are they like the Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures style guys? Or I guess they could be from like another mini range or another D&D mini range, I suppose. This is just the first ones that come to mind when I think of D&D minis for some reason. Ah, gotcha. 3D prints and the other ones are from Reaper. Very cool, very cool, very cool. Yeah, Reaper should have been my first guess, but I didn't. Like I said, my brain goes to Nolzur's for some reason. I guess because those are the licensed Dungeons and Dragons minis from WizKids, which they're not great, but they're really cheap and they're good to practice on. All right. So that's our gold and silver done. All right, now, for those of you who have just popped into the stream and, haven't been to the other Chaos Warrior streams, for all the Chaos Warriors, I've been adding, like, little finishing touches that are... Hi, Scolded Percy. Bees? Bees indeed. For the other Chaos Warriors, I have been adding little finishing touches to them. For instance, for Khorne, you can see, when I hold it up, you can see there's some blood splatter on like his shield and on his mace. I think it's on his armor and stuff like that. And, I mean, blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne, etc., etc. So we did that for him. For Nurgle, we added rust, made his mace look all rusty. He's got like corrosion in the joints of his armor. And like his shield is all rusty and stuff. Like all the metal is like really like dull and corroded and just decaying because, Nurgle. And then the last stream we painted Slaanesh. And Slaanesh, you can see, has got like little bits of like filigree on their weapon and their armor and on their shield. All that sort of thing. Thank you. I think they look pretty good. And I made the metal very shiny. Because, Slaanesh likes to take good care of their things. And they embrace perfection in all things. So, that's what I've been doing for that. Now, for Tzeentch here, I've decided, since Tzeentch is the god of magic and sorcery and change, I'm going to try to freehand some like glowing runes on the armor and on the shield, and probably on the weapon too. So for that, I'm going to start with Celestial Blue. And we're going to thin it way down. I want it to flow so nicely. And I may need need to throw on the sexy gogs for this. Here they are. Sexy gogs. Okay, so we're not going to try to like actually mimic any sort of script. It's going to do like little lines and swooshes. Do some on the shield here. Very subtle right now, but I'm going to make them a little more obvious here in just a minute. I promise. Okay, and then we'll also put some on the weapon here. back of the hand here too. Okay. So we got some little beginnings of runes here. They're very subtle, because it's blue on blue, obviously. But now we're gonna take some just pure white, and we're gonna mix it with our celestial blue. It's stuck. Oh, God. Okay, now we're gonna take this. I'm gonna go back over my little runes. Got a hair in my face. My hat keeps hitting something. We have the shield runes there. The belt. weapon. Okay. So now the last step. Not the last step. The almost last step. It's going to be just to take some white. And we're just going to dot this in places. In the runes to try to just give them sources of light. Quote unquote. And I'm sorry I'm not talking so much, but I'm kind of trying to focus on this part. Because it'd be very easy for me to screw it up and make it look like shit. It doesn't help that my hands are shaking a little bit too. Get some water. I'm glad everybody's enjoying the stream, or at least I hope they are. Okay. All right. There you go. There's some glowing runes for you. Ugh. Whew. So there's a couple of things I want to try with this. Just to see how they work. That's part of the beauty of having board game minis to paint, is that you can experiment with them a little bit. And you don't really have to worry about screwing them up too much. I'm not really worried about it, at least. So I've got this contrast paint. It's a weird sort of like, it's a very subtle blue. It's not a very strong tint. So I just want to take a little bit of this. I'm going to put some on a rune and just see what happens. Not much. The tint literally isn't strong enough to even, like, you know, make any sort of noticeable change. It's hilarious. It's very subtle if it's apparent at all. Okay, so that didn't really do much. Now the other thing that I wanted to check, I want to check out what it does. I do want to check out what it does on the weapon. This is a different surface, because it's silver. It's a little more obvious on here. It's a little bit of a glow there. I don't know about this one, Games Workshop. Citadel paints. Maybe go back to formula. It's a real back to formula moment here. Because it's not really showing up or doing anything. I guess it gives it kind of a subtle blue. But I'm really not seeing it at all. Okay, well, last thing I want to do, because this is supposed to be a magical weapon, I'm going to try adding a little bit of this. Now, I know this will show up. This is a Celestium blue. I'm going to add a little bit of this contrast paint to the weapon here. Not everywhere. Just sort of along the edges. Just to give it a little magical feeling. Alrighty. Cool. That works. Kind of. I'm not in love with it, but it's not a bad little effect. I'm just trying things out, you know. Alrighty. Well, that's everything. It's done. Finished. Finito. Kaput. Done. Dunzerino. Dunzo. Cool. So we have Tzeentch. Slaanesh. Thank you. Yeah, I think the runes look really cool. They came out pretty nice. Nurgle. And Corn. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. All 4 of our Chaos Warriors painted in the style of the Chaos Gods. So let's take a look and we'll compare my old Chaos Warrior painting to the new one. Okay. Boop. There it is. All right, so this was my old Corn figure from the original HeroQuest set. And this is the Tzeentch from the original HeroQuest set. This is the Nurgle from the original HeroQuest set. And this is the Slaanesh from the original HeroQuest set. So there you go. That's what they looked like before. And now, with time and experience and completely different models, there you go. That's what we have now. Very pleased with these. I'm very pleased with this these 4 minis overall, I think. So I'm thinking that yes, I think we'll call it a success. That's what we'll do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to we're gonna wrap up here. We're gonna go on a little trip. Whoa, that's my hand. Going on a little trip here to the chatting station. But thanks for hanging out, and thanks to our raiders who popped in. I think everybody's popped out by now, but that's okay. We're gonna call it a night here. I'm gonna find my exit song on Pretzel. Oh, I already have it up. Well, look at that. I have to refresh this. All right.
There is a tavern in the town, and there
All right.
my true love sits him down.
Thanks for hanging out, guys. I really did appreciate it. And I'll be back on Thursday. Hopefully. Unless something catastrophic happens. If it does, I'll be sure to let everybody know. But thanks for hanging out. I had a ton of fun. We finished our 4th Chaos Warrior. And yeah, we're going to wrap up the other 2 next stream, probably. Either that or we'll get halfway through with them and finish them on Monday. Who knows? We'll find out. But we're going to paint those, I think, black and gold with red cloaks. That'll be fun. And red, like, cloths and stuff like that. So, it'll be nice. Very goth minis. Alright, see you guys next time. Bye-bye!
Stay with you. I'll hang my harp on a weeping willow tree, and may the world go well with thee. My grave both wide and deep, wide and deep. Put tombstones at my head and feet, and on my breast carve a turtle dove to signify I died of love. Fare thee well, for I must leave thee. Do not let the parting grieve thee. Remember that the best of friends must part, must part. Adieu, adieu, kind friends, adieu, adieu, adieu. I can no longer stay with you, stay with you. I'll hang my harp on a weeping willow tree, and may the world go well with thee.